Chapter 18, Two Worlds. As the other deltas spin across the dance floor, you stare in shock at the man beside you. Could I have this dance? Devin, you're here. You take in the sight of him, dressed more formally than you've ever seen in a well-fitted suit. It's great to see you, and you look wonderful. His gaze sweeps across you, a mix of surprise and admiration in his eyes. So do you. You look, well, regal. Thank you. But with the way we left things off, I didn't expect... What are you doing here? Are you gonna ask me about the article? I almost don't want to. I'm just happy to see you here. Well, you deserve to know that I published it. Here. He pulls up the article on the phone and holds it up for you to skim through. The Deltas have forged ahead despite, because of their struggles, and at the center, their heart is Daisy Hawthorne. It goes on about each of the Deltas and everything you've done this semester. Every paragraph has Daisy's name. You kept our secret. Devin, thank you. It was certainly your right to publish the full story, but I'm so grateful you didn't. I almost did. I had myself convinced that writing about the real you would be telling the truth. That's what a journalist should do, right? But the more I thought about it, the more I realized that I was prioritizing my feelings over the actual truth. Yes, it hurt that you lied to me. But even if you didn't tell me your real name or where you're from, I still got to know you. Everything you've done for the Deltas, everything that we've shared, that showed me what kind of person you really are. Princess or no. So I decided to tell the part of the truth that mattered. You want to reach out for him, but you still don't really know where you two stand. And finally he smiles. I'm new to all this court stuff, so I'm guessing it's not polite to leave a guy hanging after he asks you to do a dance. So what do you say? I'd love to dance with you. You lead Devin out on the dance floor, quickly showing him where to put his hands as you start swaying to the music. Ballroom dancing looks good on you. Please, if we look good at all, it's because of you, Rose. It feels wonderful to hear you say my actual name. It'll take some getting used to. But, as weirdly amazing as it is to be dancing in a palace with a princess, I came here to ask you something. Out of everything going around in my head since I saw the real Daisy, I keep coming back to one question. What is it? Everything I felt between us, every kiss, every touch. His hands are warm around your waist, and you think of the moonlight, the warehouse loft, his bare skin against yours. Was any of it real, or was I just a way for a princess to rabble however she could? Of course it was real. I wasn't trying to rebel. I just wanted to get outside of the palace and experience something real, instead of having my whole life planned out for me. And everything we shared together, those were the realest moments I've felt in my entire life. He smiles softly, his grip on your waist tightening. You let yourself relax, just a little bit. So, are we okay? Well, I'm dancing with you, so you can take that as a good sign. You laugh and sway together with him, your faces just inches apart as you slowly move to the music. I'm glad. I was so devastated when I thought I'd ruined things for you. Good. I've met plenty of people at court, plenty of would-be suitors, but I've never felt this way about anyone before. Me neither. But I knew you were going to be trouble from the moment we met. That first night at the club, I felt sparks, like the universe was telling us we were destined to collide. Your romantic side is one of the things I like best about you. And for a moment, you both smile at each other so brightly that it almost hurts until reality sinks in. But we still live in pretty different worlds, don't we? Yes, we do. And that shouldn't matter, but I digress. Devin holds you a little closer, his expression suddenly serious under the glittering lights of the chandeliers. Do you think there's any way this could ever work between a princess and a commoner? You want to be able to say yes more than anything, but after all that both of you have been through, you owe him the truth. I don't know. Meanwhile, across the ballroom, Just have to, because they have no transition whatsoever. You usher Clark out to a secluded balcony, but with every step your heart feels like it's about to break. If I have to go along with Cecil's awful orders, I can at least break the news to him privately. Finally, some peace and quiet. So, now that you got me alone, what was this very important thing you had to tell me? Come on, Daisy. You can do this. You take a deep breath and look him in the eyes. I'll rip off the band-aid. Clark, look, there's no easy way to say this, so I'm just gonna come right out with it. He places a hand on your arm, his expression comforting, trusting, which makes this even harder. It's okay, you can tell me anything. I know, and I'm going to. Clark, A loud fanfare of trumpets suddenly sounds inside the ballroom. What's going on in there? We'd better go see. As the fanfare dies down, you rush back out to the ballroom just in time to see the crowd parting at the center of the room. What are they all... On my mark, everyone. Aaron lifts his arms, signaling the ballroom's musicians to play a sweeping romantic song. You look around for Clark, but he's no longer beside you. He's stepping into the open space at the center of the room with the brightest smile you've ever seen. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Rose, but I also had something important to tell you tonight. Oh, so your message should take precedence, you ass? Half of you wants to leap for joy, while the other half is frozen in horror. Is he about to... As some of you know, I came to Monterey out of obligation. I never had any intention of proposing at the end of the season. That's news to me. But as time went by, I learned to see the beauty of this palace. I learned to believe in something for the first time in a very long time. Not just in empty words or abstract concepts, but in the remarkable woman standing before you. The woman I love. Oh, Clark. Is this actually happening? This can't be real. You, Rose, are the realest thing in the world to me. With that, Clark starts to bend down on one knee, his hand going to his pocket. Stop! It'd be great if someone would throw something at this man. Lord Cecil's voice echoes throughout the entire ballroom. All heads turn to look at him as he glares at you. I cannot allow this proposal to happen when there's something the whole court deserves to know. Cecil, please don't. Princess Rose has been sneaking out on her suitor. Cecil holds up photos of Rose and Devon. You reach for them, but it's too late. All the shocked gasps erupt from the whole court. Rose, is this true? Listen, it's not what it looks like. Really? Because the two of you look awfully close. You stare at the man you've fallen for. A dozen explanations whirling in your head, but none of them feel like enough. But that isn't her in those photographs at all. The crowd goes utterly silent as your sister walks up beside you. Rose, what the hell are you doing? Making this right. Yes! Yes, we could have done this at the beginning of the book, but you know, finally. She glares at Cecil and raises her voice so the whole room can hear. Those photographs are of me. And me. You stare. Stephen steps beside Rose, protectively looping his arm through your sister's, and the court erupts in shock. How are there two of them? My head is spinning. Someone fetch my smelling salts. Rose, who is this? What's going on? I would also like to know what's going on. I am the woman you know as Princess Rose Julivar, and this is Daisy Hawthorne. She takes a deep breath and releases it with a slow exhale. My half-sister. You're what? It's true. I mean, we really haven't had the test back. I really am Rose's half-sister. I wish we could have met under less messy circumstances, Dad, but... Surprise? At first, we only planned to switch places for a few days, but as you can see, things got out of hand. When Daisy and I met, it was little like fate. Knew what I had been feeling, how stuck I felt in this palace without any voice of my own. Rose turns to you with a grin. I needed Daisy before I ever knew she existed. And now that she's here, there's no way we're going back. Cecil sputters in rage while the king just stares at you. Nonsense! Is it impossible? It could be. I mean, look at the two of them. Well, at least this explains why Princess Rose has been such a thorn in my side these past few months. The real Rose would never care to sit through a council meeting or plan a ball. Maybe because she never got a chance to. I don't know how things work up here in your palace, but down at Julievart she's a leader who saved a whole sorority. Yeah, she's our fearless leader. Our crown princess knows what she's doing. But she's surprisingly competent. Rose is 10 times the leader Lord Cecil could ever be. Oh! Well, it hardly matters what the real princess or not is capable of. The point is that this girl, whoever she may be, is not the princess that Clark asked to court this social season. Monterey and Ishmar cannot possibly connect to their royal families based on such falsehood. Cecil, for once in your damn life, stop talking. As Cecil stares at his king, dumbfounded, Edmund turns to you, his expression softening. Daisy, was it? Do you swear you are truly my daughter? What? A blood test, my dude. Go on, Maury. You are the father. Yes. I figured it out the day you told me about Anna. He steps forward and takes your hands carefully, grasping both of them in his own. I see her in your eyes. Your Majesty, surely you aren't going to entertain this absurd farce. What's there to entertain? If Daisy is truly my daughter, then I claim her as part of the royal family as a princess in her own right. What? After everything Princess Rose, or Daisy, has accomplished between us and Ishmar, it'd be wonderful to get to know her. Everybody just accepts it. See? Could have done this like 10 chapters ago. Yes, Miss Daisy has made some progress for peace than diplomats have in centuries. What a truly wondrous twist of fate! Cecil, you should be ashamed of yourself for getting in the way of true progress. I was only thinking of Monterey! The king, your dad, turns to you and your sister with tears shining in his eyes. My Rose, I apologize for my overprotectiveness, for not trusting you to make your own decisions. I have many questions, of course, but I've learned anything from my time with Daisy, it is that great things can happen when I trust my daughters. If you wish to experience life outside the palace, you have my blessing. And Daisy... Yes? I wish with all of my heart that I'd known about you sooner, but I'm thrilled to get to know you now. Me too, Dad. He holds out his arms, and you and Rose embrace your father together for the first time. When you finally pull away, you see Clark watching both of you, more serious than you've ever seen him. So it's Daisy, is it? You poor bastard. Are you mad at me? I'm certainly feeling a lot of things, but anger isn't one of them. You may not be the princess I was sent here to court, but when I look at you, I still see the woman I've been falling for these past few months. And if you truly are sisters, then you are a princess of Monterey, aren't you? I guess so. Prince Clark smiles at you and holds your hand, or your gaze, as he finally gets down on one knee, reaching into his jacket for a small red box. Yeah. See, like I said, drama like this, let's be real, there's bigger fish to fry in this world. Then Princess Daisy, will you marry me? Not for the sake of Ishmar or Monterey, but for the sake of a humble prince whose heart you've captured. Your heart leaps into your chest as an angry voice breaks the silence. I swear to God if it's Cecil. Now wait just a minute. We're all simply going to allow this to happen. I demand a full investigation into this Daisy before any decisions can be made. Decisions with vast consequences for... No, I'm gonna punch him. For someone so obsessed with decorum, you should know that it's rude to interrupt a proposal, and even ruder to interrupt it twice. No, he's actually done it about 4 times so far. I'm speaking up for the sake of... Before he can finish, you wind your fist back and clock him in the face. Oh! That's for blackmailing me, you jerk. Excellent form. Guards, I want this man arrested on charges of blackmail. Take him away. No, please. This cannot be happening. This cannot be happening! His guards swarm Cecil and drag him away. You turn back to face Clark, breathless from the excitement. Now, where were we? I believe I'd asked if you would marry me, so will you? I might need to hear the question one more time. There are chuckles throughout the course as Clark grins warmly at you. Princess Daisy, will you please make me the happiest man in the world and marry me? Yes. Now get over here and kiss me. Clark sweeps you into his arms and dips into a passionate kiss to the cheers of the crowd. Oh, I almost forgot. He opens the red box and slides the ring onto your finger. That's my sister. Well, everyone, this has certainly been an evening to remember. There was to be one more dance at tonight's ball, but I suggest that my daughter Daisy and Prince Clark be allowed to lead it. You and Clark take to the dance floor, holding each other close as you dance while the other couples pair up around you. Are all the Shmari nobles as good at dancing? You'd be hard-pressed to find one who isn't, but I also happen to be exceptionally good. Well then, I'd love to teach you more of our Monterian dances sometime, just the 2 of us. You know, Clark, this might be the best ball of the social season. I certainly hope so. I didn't propose to you at all at any of the others. I only wish... Before he can go on, you're swarmed by all the deltas. You look just like the other Daisy. I mean Rose. That's Kaylee, by the way. I'm Miet. Nice to meet you both. So, Daisy, when are you gonna introduce us to your friend? I was getting to it. No need. You're a Pisces, right? That's all I need to know. Wait, what? How did you know that? Clark, meet the weirdest people I know. It's an essential part of their charm. You're damn right. It's a pleasure to meet you all. You'd better treat our Daisy right, Prince Clark. Swear that you will. Swear on your mother's grave. But my mother's still alive. Girls, are you terrorizing the poor Prince of Ishmar? Rose sweeps over to you and Devon at her side. So this is the Rose I knew as a child. Pleased to make your reacquaintance, and yours, Devon of the cafe. God damn it. Likewise. Yes, we're all charmed. Now, sure. Now, how about we give those 2 lovebirds a little space? Rose gives you an conspiratorial wink as she leads the deltas away from Devon. Or with Devon. So, those are my college friends, and you've already met Devon. Were both of you in the cafe that day? You and Rose? Guilty as charged. I was so scared you both were going to figure it out, although part of me wished you would have. It's strange. I got to know you all season, even without knowing your name, but so much of the rest of your life is new to me. Well, what else do you want to know? He grins and reaches a hand up to touch your cheek. Everything. All the things you couldn't tell me in the past season, big and small. Why don't we find somewhere you can share your details, and we can properly celebrate the beautiful ring you're wearing in private. He spins you close, his body warm against yours, as he grins that teasing, inviting grin you've come to love. After all the work surprising you at the perfect ball, you want to abandon it? Trust me, it's not as easy as a decision as it usually is, but for you, I'd do anything. Diamond choice. Still can't get over the Devon of the cafe comment. That was good. Let's get out of here. immediately takes your hand and whisks you out of the ballroom, not bothering to see if anyone has watched you go. And where are we going?
I think I should be asking you that. I want to go somewhere that matters to you, Daisy.
I'd love to show you the Delta House if that's not too boring. It's the first place I ever got to know in Monterey, and...
I said I wanted to know everything about you, Daisy. If that's a story best told at Boulevard, it sounds perfect.
Well, then I'll show you around on one condition. You provide the ride.
Done.
After a short ride across the Capitol, Clark ties Isra up beside the house, taking in the view.
So this is where you lived before you and Rose traded places?
For just about 2 semesters. Before that, I grew up in the States.
I guessed as much, once you dropped the Rose Act. Marrying a complete secret princess, an American, the Ishmari tabloids are going to be so proud of me.
Glad I could help your image, Your Highness. You reach behind a potted plant for a spare key and let Clark into the quiet house. Everyone's still at the ball, so we have the place to ourselves. Clark slowly strolls through the living room, running a hand across the mantelpiece and smiling at your surroundings.
It's much nicer than my mental images of a sorority, which I'll admit was based very little on data.
It was a pretty good home away from home. Clark wanders over to a display of photos by the mantel, bending to look at one in the center.
So, why did you feel such an urge to leave this place?
I didn't know what I wanted. I thought the world had to have more to offer than my day-to-day here on campus. I didn't know what that was exactly. I just knew I needed a change.
And are you happy with the changes you found in Monterey?
You smile at him and twirl the new ring on your finger. Very. I do miss home sometimes, though. My mom is gonna have so many questions when I tell her about you, about us.
Well, you've already met my parents, so I look forward to meeting the other half of yours. I promise to make a good impression. Believe it or not, most parents, besides my own, generally like me.
I have a feeling my mom will appreciate your roguish charm.
Is she like your father? Big on tradition, but surprisingly welcoming?
Not exactly. They're both sweethearts, but my mom's a lot more down to earth. We don't have royalty in America, so she just raised me the best she could as a single mom. She was my hero growing up. I've always felt like she was my back.
I can tell those from the photos.
He points at a picture from the last semester of you, your mom, and Faye on the day you moved in. Your mom is hugging you and beaming.
You know, I've traveled a lot for diplomatic functions, but I haven't made it across the Atlantic before. We could go visit your mother in the States sometime to break the news.
That is a wonderful idea. I'd love to show you where I grew up, make a vacation out of it. Show you where I grew up. If you think the house is different from the palace, wait until you see the tiny town where I grew up, and our even tinier apartment.
Anywhere that's important to you is important to me.
Careful, Prince Clark. I might start thinking you've gone soft now that we're engaged.
I can express my feelings and maintain my trademark sense of humor. I contain multitudes.
Well, then let me show you the rest of this place, oh Prince of Multitude.
You take Clark upstairs, where the hall and the first 2 bedrooms are strewn with spare clothes, bobby pins, and the aftermath of the Deltas getting ready for the ball.
Sorry, it's usually neater than this.
Let me guess. When you're here, the whole place is pristine?
Yes, absolutely. I am nothing if not a paragon of cleanliness.
That must be your princess side talking. You lead Clark over the mess towards the threshold of your room. I have to admit I'm quite curious what your real room looks like.
What? Because I used to live in a sorority, you don't think I'm surrounded by my grandeur?
I said nothing of the sort, though I'll be disappointed if I don't see at least one china set laying around.
The closest thing to China in there is in my world atlas from geography class.
Open the door to your and Faye's rooms, glancing at Clark to gauge his reaction. It's
charming?
Well, yes, but I was going to say small. 2 of you really live in one room together?
Your inherited wealth is showing, but yes, this is how normal people in University lives.
I wonder how the real Rose took to these quarters.
She loved it, aside from a few complaints about the mattress and the thread count on my sheets. But she agreed to swap places so she could taste normal. He nods, strolling slowly through the room and taking in the knickknacks and posters from your old life.
Are you sure you won't miss this place too much now that you're official royalty? I imagine we'll be spending quite some time at your father's palace or my parents' even before the wedding.
Honestly, I'll go with... I'd take life in a palace with you any day. Although it is nice to finally be able to show you the real me, where I came from.
Princess Daisy, are you implying that you thought about taking me to this bedroom before? You take a step towards him, grinning invitingly.
What if I have?
And I would be incredibly flattered.
You laugh, and for a moment you both stare at each other. Barely inches apart, Clark reaches a hand up to brush your cheek.
So, is this the last stop on your intimate tour of your history, on the places in Monterey that helped lead you to the palace?
Actually, there's one more spot I want to show you.
You take him to the place where it all began, the place where your parents met, and where you met Rose, what feels like a lifetime ago.
This is where Rose and I came up with a crazy plan that changed our lives forever. If we hadn't run into each other, I never would have come to the palace or met your father, or my father, or you. The thought makes your heart ache a little. Clark reaches for one of your hands and clasps it in his.
Quite a place to change so many of our futures. I'm not normally one to believe in fate, but I'd like to think we would have found each other somehow, no matter what. Being with you just feels so right that it's hard to imagine a world where we'd never met.
That right there is one of the reasons I fell in love with you.
What, my grand romantic statements?
That your heart used to try so hard to hide. It's a pretty good one when you aren't afraid to show it. Yeah, just right. It takes the right person to find the key to open your heart.
For a moment, you smile at each other, before Clark looks up at the sky through the glass walls, soft moonlight dancing across his face. I remember the exact moment I realized I was falling for you.
When
you came with me to Ishmar. I'd become so happy in Monterey, but I was resigned myself to my parents' demands, until you insisted on following. I'd never met anyone who fights so hard for what they believe in, no matter what the odds. And no matter how intimidating my family can be, how could I not fall in love with a woman with that much heart?
Well, I'm glad you did. I realized I was falling for you the day of the hunt, when I thought you were leaving for good. When we planned tonight's ball. Not tonight. When you were leaving for good, I think. Realizing I might have to say goodbye suddenly made it clear how much I didn't want to say goodbye. Ever.
Neither did I. I obviously didn't know the whole story, but I knew that I'd found something special in you, someone special. Then you followed me home, and were so damn brave that even my most cynical thoughts couldn't deny it.
You really have changed. The Clark I met on the balcony didn't even seem to care about anything.
Well, certain someone helped me realize that some things are still worth caring about. No matter how easy it was to pretend I didn't. Thank you for not giving up on me, Daisy.
Clark brushes the back of his hand against your cheek.
And thank you for showing me the real you.
I love the way you say my name.
And I love saying it. Somehow it suits you more than Rose ever did.
Drawing you close, he smiles as he murmurs your name once more.
Daisy.
He reverently kisses your cheek, whispering your name gently against your skin. Daisy. And finally he hovers just inches before you, his breath ghosting across your lips as he brings his hands up to cradle your face. My Daisy. Your eyes meet briefly, electricity racing between you before you're both leaning in at the same time, closing the distance with a kiss that sends warmth rushing through you. Emboldened, Clark presses you back against one of the glass walls, deepening the kiss as his hands fall to your hips, pulling you flush against him. He nips at your neck, and you sigh happily. You lean into his touch, but Clark suddenly pulls back, looking at you with open heat in his eyes. His next words are husky, inviting whisper. I'm yours, princess. However you want me. I want to hold you tonight. That can be arranged. He suddenly sweeps you into his arms, bridal style, and carries you to a cushioned bench near the fountain. Oh. Comfortable? Yeah, but I'm a little chilly. He sits beside you and wraps his arms around your waist. How do you feel now? A little warmer. He leans in to capture your lips in another kiss, leaving you breathless. And now? Much better. As the moon shines down through the leaves and flowers around you, you forget everything except for the warmth of Clark's arms and the feeling of his lips on yours. Some time later. Thank you again, Daisy. I feel like I should be thanking you for everything tonight. You hold up your left hand, and Clark smiles at the sight of your ring sparkling under the moonlight. No, I mean thank you for being stubborn enough to get through my dashing but jaded exterior. It was a piece of cake. We both know that it wasn't. Maybe not, but it was easier than you think. All it took was some persistence. Your jaded exterior wasn't nearly as deep as you act like it was. Glushes his chest with a mock-wounded expression. Oh, what, my world is falling apart. Everyone who said I couldn't get through to you clearly never spent more than 30 minutes talking to you. Well, then I'm very fortunate that you took the time. For a moment, you smile at each other, neither of you wanting this moment to end. Are you sure you're ready for what comes next? Not just being a princess on a permanent basis, but marrying a prince of Ishmar? Well, I won't be doing it alone, so I'll be fine. We'll be fine. Right now, I feel like we could do anything. I believe we could. He smiles and pulls you into his arms once again, and you know without a doubt that you're right. Together, you and Clark could take on the world. Meanwhile, back at the farewell ball, you're saying a few farewells of your own. You hold up a champagne glass as Devon and the Deltas lift their own drinks beside you. A toaster rose, the best Delta ever. I'll drink to that. Astra, this is your third toast. Don't care. Do you really have to go back to the palace for good tonight? Yeah, I already was getting used to you being our new boss. You taking the gilded walls of your home, the friends in front of you, and now that the truth is out, you realize things just got a great deal simpler. Maybe I could still be a Delta. That is, if you have room for one more pledge. You really want to stay? Of course. I want to say goodbye to my sisters. Goodbyes suck anyway. They make me too sad. But don't worry, you guys will be leaving in no time at all. Leaving us behind. See how that works? Agreed. It's much more practical if you stay with us. Because we like you. I'll have to speak with my father and work out the details, of course. But I think it would do Monterey good if both the princesses had a full university education alongside their Delta sisters. So, you and the real Daisy will both get to hang out with us. Next semester is going to be so dope. As the Delta chatter excitedly amongst themselves, you pull Devon aside to quiet alcove. I'm missing Cecil already. Thank you for standing up for me earlier, despite all the chaos. I know I said I wasn't sure if things could work out between us, but now the truth is out. Anything feels possible. That is, if you still want there to be an us. He laughs and pulls you into a kiss without a moment's hesitation. Your heart leaps with joy. Is that a yes? Absolutely. Although, as much as I've gotten to know you, there's obviously still a lot I don't know. He glances at his wrist to check an invisible watch. Oh, look at the time. It's almost midnight, Cinderella, so we better get started. What, here, now? Why not? I'd love to take a private tour of the palace, learn everything there is to know about the real you. Diamond choice. Let's go, let's go. I know, I'm using the song, okay? Let's let it go, shut up. Telling you everything may take a while, but I'll do my best to show you the highlights. You lead him down the halls where you've known your whole life, and he looks around in wonder. I still can't believe you grew up here, like this is your house. Like any house, there's much history in these halls, just a few more centuries of it. When I was a kid, my school textbooks had whole chapters on the palace's history. That's only the boring stuff. They leave out a lot of the stories that make up the palace's local character. For instance, that window over there is where my great-grandfather came to blows with a Cordonian ambassador. Was it Maxwell? Or Maxwell's father. That's one way to send a diplomatic message. That's not even the biggest meltdown that's happened. Those statues along the wall were split between two rival artists. When the statues were unveiled, the artists brawled over which set was better. Reportedly, paintbrushes make decent weapons. Speaking from experience, dried paint bristles can leave a mark. But you're part of the palace's history, too. You must have had your own moments here. Well, the statue besides that door was my favorite spot for hide and seek. I was half expecting a brawl. That seems to be the theme of this hall. Oh, I would have started a fight, but nobody ever found me. I was too good at hiding. You lead him into the next room. And this was my amusement park. Are you about to tell me a secret bouncy castle comes down from that ceiling? I wish, but since I never got to leave the palace much, I had to use my imagination. This banister was my roller coaster. See, my steps in my old house, they were mine. They were carpet, and you would bounce down the steps. Really? I thought you would have had an endless supply of high-end toys as a princess. I did, along with tutors whose job it was to play with me, but it always felt like those things were meant to keep me in the palace. With my imagination, I could go anywhere. It's part of the Rose experience. Then I went in. Let's ride the roller coaster. It's been a while since I used it, but why not? You sit atop the railing with Devon seated just behind you. It seems higher up than you remember, or maybe it's just that you've gotten taller. Ready? Hold him close, why not? You wrap Devon's arms around your waist, bringing him close against you. Now that we're securely fastened, yes. Together, you slide down, feeling adrenaline flood through you until you reach the bottom. Oh, this is my new favorite ride in the city. You're just saying that because I'm here. So, anywhere with you is my favorite place. At the bottom of the stairs, you take Devon's hand again and lead him deeper into the palace. So, what's this room's story? Is a spot for important diplomatic meetings, a place where you had the best tea ever. This is the easiest spot to sneak out of the palace. My lady-in-waiting helped me pull off many escapes through that window over the years, which led me to the day that I left the palace, swapped lives with a college student, and ran into you. Why did you sneak out so many times? I mean, I know you were trying to get away from your dad and running your life, but what were you really hoping to find? I was mostly looking for freedom. I needed a chance to be myself instead of always being defined by the role of princess. He squeezes your hand. The real you is pretty incredible. Crown or no, I'm impressed that you never got caught sneaking out, though. The garden below is in a blind spot from the guard's post. And as previously mentioned, I happen to be very good at hide and seek. Good to know. Finally, you lead him up to your royal quarters. And here's our last stop, my chambers. Wow. He takes in your lavish room, from the lush carpets to the chandelier to the silk curtains. Listen, all I see is gold and green, and I'm like, listen, it's morphin time! Dragon Zord! Listen, shut up! Your bed is nearly the size of my childhood bedroom. I used to think everyone had rooms this big until I got out of the palace. Yeah, no, listen, your closet? Still bigger than my room, probably. Talk about learning you're from a completely different world. Devon runs a hand along the bedpost, his expression thoughtful. I gotta admit, when I first learned the truth, I thought you were just another rich girl playing tourist among the common people. But once I got past that and realized you weren't like that, I knew everything about you that really mattered. I had to wonder if you could ever be serious about getting with a guy like me. I mean, you grew up surrounded by this. Like, how could I ever compare to that? Because those are materialistic things, and you're a person. Duh. Oh, Devon, being surrounded by luxury means nothing when you feel trapped by it. I get that now, but you can't blame a guy for having this doubts when he's thinking of crashing a real bald-ass out a crown princess. Well, if it wasn't clear by now, I'm quite serious about you. I fell for you precisely because you taught me about true freedom. You showed me the type of luxury that really matters. Your gorgeous body is worth more than any luxury. Bodies are materialistic things too. Think about it. We seek beauty, we seek perfection, we seek all this shit. It's materialistic in nature in and of itself. It's unrealistic expectations that society has bound us to. I know! You never thought those words would come out of my mouth, did you? Yeah, if not, you're learning a whole new side of what I keep shut up inside, because society goes, oh, how dare! You taught me about true freedom. When you took me up to the rooftop on the night we met, I saw so many possibilities. You're so unapologetically free that it's intoxicating. Devon smiles, and your heart beats a little faster as he closes the distance between you. Do you really mean all that? Of course. His eyes flit down to your smile. In an instant, you're locked in a kiss, his arms slipping around your waist with ease. Rose. I love hearing you say my real name, almost as much as I love kissing you. He kisses you more fervently, his hands trailing down your sides until he pauses, looking at you with a question in his eyes. Just so we're on the same page, how exactly did you see this going? Me being here, in your room? I saw a great deal of making out on that bed. Ah, good, because I could do that all night. Now that I'm a princess again, I am most certainly would be missed if we were all gone all night. And we better make the most of the time we got. That's a wonderful idea. Smiling, you wrap your arms around him as he kisses you tenderly. Perhaps it wouldn't be so terrible if you really were here to stay here all night. After a time, he wraps you in his arms, and you gently rest your head on his chest. You sigh happily, listening to the steady, comforting rhythm of his heartbeat. Rose, thank you for sharing all of this with me. He gestures in the air as if taking the whole palace. Not just the tour, but the real you. I should be the one thanking you. You've always been there for me, even when we hardly knew each other. I couldn't help it. From the moment we met, I knew there was something special about you. Probably the fact that I was a secret princess. No, it wasn't that. Even without knowing your secret, I knew you were someone who cares fearlessly about the people around you, and I feel very lucky to be one of them. Good, because you very much are. You smile as you're kissing, your heart nearly full to bursting, and both of you linger in the moment for as long as you can. Later, the farewell ball is slowly wrapping up, leaving you sitting beside your father with Clark, your sister, and Devon. Devon, Wright, was it? I know the Wrights' families were.
We have some of the vases here in the palace. Oh, that's an honor, sir. Although I'm not really in the ceramics business myself.
Devon is a journalist. Then, you're going to have quite a story to tell about tonight. Monterey discovered a long-lost princess. She got engaged
to an incredibly dashing and generous heir of Ishmar.
And she finally got to introduce herself to her dad.
It truly has been a night for the history books, but what would you like to come next after this, my dears?
Honestly, I was hoping to stay in Monterey. I'm sure the Delta's gonna make room for...
Only if you wish to live on the campus. This palace is your home too, Daisy. And I'll find quarters for you once, tonight even.
You beam at your dad. Then I guess I'm staying after all, as long as my mom's okay with it. I have a wedding to plan, a degree to finish at Boulevard, and I'd love to get to know my dad. After all, one season doesn't make up for a lifetime of fatherly bonding. My mom only knew about a third of the picture. Fatherly bonding.
You're right. We'd best get started post-haste.
I think I deserve a healthy amount of fatherly talks, too.
I'll be sure to space them out. And what about you, Rose?
If I truly have your blessing to spend more time outside the palace, then I would like to attend Boulevard, too. I have a few promises to keep to the Deltas, and it would make it even easier to see Devon.
The king slowly sizes both Devon and Clark up and down, his expression serious until it breaks into a grin. Of course, I would love to get to know Mr. Wright better, and I expect to see a great deal more of my future son-in-law. Don't worry, Your Majesty. I'll be underfoot day in and day out.
You look around at the man you love, your new family, and your heart feels full to the brim with happiness.
Right this moment, however, I'd like to spend some time alone with my daughters if they're up for indulging in an old family tradition.
Oh yes, we have to take Daisy to the Wishing Lake. The what now?
There's a private lake house on the grounds where Rose and I would go to celebrate special occasions and enjoy a family dessert. It would mean the world to share that tradition with you, if you're willing. A diamond choice. If I'm gonna be honest, they could have spaced this out and added this into another chapter and could have made chapter 19, but, you know, hey, whatever.
Family bonding sounds wonderful.
Then, let's show her the way. Have fun, you three. Just not too much fun without us.
Clark pulls you in for a brief kiss, and Devon kisses Rose on the cheek.
You share a grin with your sister as both of you wave goodnight to the people you love and follow your father through the palace. You soon reach a private lake in the shadows of a luxurious lake house.
Are you telling me that your literal palace has a lake house behind it this whole time? Our palace does, and yes, welcome to one of the many perks of being royalty.
And listen, royalty gets all the perks, let's be honest. It's not one of.
And here I thought I'd experience everything being a princess has to offer.
As you find a place to settle by the water, servants rush over to lay blankets on the ground and lay a decadent-looking dish of warm chocolate souffle to each of you. Souffle? I want to say souffle, just go with it.
Holy chocolate.
I'm pretty sure it's souffle. I must be in heaven. We've seen this before. It looks good, but I don't know. I've never had one. This is a family recipe that's hundreds of years old, made from the finest gourmet chocolate. It's our tradition to indulge whenever we come to the lake.
I wish my mom and I had an ancient family souffle recipe. Surely you must have had some fun American traditions from your mother's side of the family.
American traditions. Sorry. Listen, you know, you know what? No. Shh, we're not talking about this until the end.
I never really thought of them as traditions before, but yeah. Mom and I would always go bowling in our costumes on Halloween, celebrate my report cards with pizza, throw wild 4th of July parties.
All of this is very American, and yet, Halloween one, not so much. I'm gonna go with Halloween because I love Halloween the most.
After trick-or-treating, we'd take our candy haul and go bowling while eating way too much candy. Despite wearing a plastic horse mask, those uncomfortable shoes, my mom could hit a strike. Hit a strike? Oh no, we're taking you bowling. It's a bowling thing. I'll show you both sometime. Though I wouldn't recommend Shib bowling in a T-Rex costume. The arms really limit you. Then I just think of that movie. My arms are tiny. Fascinating. I knew your mom was a cool mom. She was so much fun to spend time with. Wait, you've met Anna? Not intentionally. And she thought I was Daisy at the time, but technically... Well, we'll tell you all the details later, but I want to hear more about your family traditions. Please tell me they involve more food? Well, lake trips like this have been a staple tradition. My parents would bring me to this very spot to share the soufflés around a fire. Of course, every time my father would take a piece of my food, which reminds me, father tax. Nice. Your dad playfully reaches over and steals a bite of Rose's soufflé. Hey, you have your own. Ah, it's important to keep our traditions alive. They connect our family through generations. Father tax? That's a new one. Now that I'm thinking about it, my mom used to buy soufflés from the store on special occasions too. Did she learn that in Monterey? I shared one with her once. Though not at the palace, of course. I'm glad she enjoyed it enough to take up the tradition in her own way. You know, this is the first time we've been all together like this. We don't really have a tradition for the three of us. Imagine he could get hooked up with her mom once again. Gasp! Because remember, he's single too now. I'd love to start something, but what should it be? Well, let's have the newest member of the family decide. They both look at you expectingly. Let's all faceplant into a souffle, collect a huge tax, jump into the lake. Nah, not jump into the lake. Faceplant into our souffle. That's a ruin in the souffle. Collect a huge hug tax. I need a lot of hugs from both of you. They're long overdue. You don't need a tradition to make me hug you. I'll do it anytime. But now, it's a part of our family tradition. One I fully support. You and your newfound family embrace, squeezing each other tightly. I'd be happy to pay back the other hugs I owe you with interest. Do we have to make hugs sound like paperwork? I will collect what I'm owed, Rose. Satisfied with your new tradition, you step apart. Edmund strolls over the lake, and you and Rose follow. He takes out 3 coins, handing one to you and Rose, and keeping the last one for himself. Is this the payback on my childhood allowance? I think it should be bigger. It's another family tradition we do when we come here. We toss the coins into the lake together. Make a wish. But we have to do it together. Wishes are more likely to come true when you have a family supporting you. The 3 of you stand together at the edge of the lake, coins in hand. I wish... Make up for lost time. Together, you all toss your coins in the water, watching them quickly sink. I want to spend as much time as possible with my new family, and make up for all the years I wasn't able to live it up as a princess. It seems as though you've already made great strides in assuring your wishes granted. Yes, but it can't hurt to have a wishing magic on my side. Also, you're not supposed to say the wish out loud, Daisy. Oh, oops. Quick, give her another coin. Glance around at your father and sister before you all break into laughter. Well, family sticks together. I wish to stay friends with Deltas for life. That won't be hard. I think you're stuck with them. Edmund rests a hand on each of your shoulders. And you're stuck with me, Daisy. I wish to make up for all the years I wasn't there for you as a father. You look up at him to see tears shining in his eyes. You place a comforting hand on his arm, smiling as your own eyes well up with happy tears. You know, Dad, you're off to a wonderful start. Weeks later, you and Rose arrive at Juilliard University for the beginning of the summer semester. So, this is really happening. 2 princesses, 2 sisters. trying to have it all.
You've taken the country you love and the new life you found side by side with your sister. Rose smiles eagerly beside you.
Are you ready for this? Are you?
Squeeze her hand, and the answer comes to both of you at once, without a doubt.
As long as we're in it together.
Hip hip hooray. Thank you for playing. We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. Alright. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Hand down the description below. You know what to do down there. And, hey, if you want to support the channel, there's the thanks feature, there's the join feature. There's, like I said, links down below. And, just also, liking and sharing and making sure you're subscribed also helps as well. So everything adds up. Don't think you understand that. Or realize how much each little bit that you do to helps. The YouTube system, which is crap, but each and every little bit helps. And then also sharing it, getting it out there to the world. It means a lot to me because you are my friends. You are essentially my family. Each and every single one of you. I look forward to your comments. I look forward to, those of you that stop by the streams that we have. Getting to know you, and the whole 9 yards. I don't think you really understand it. Like a lot of content creators, not to throw shade at them, and there's a good portion that I know that like comments and things like that, but a lot of them just have admitted they just don't read the comments, because some of the comments can be garbo at times, right? And a lot of them, over the years that I've been doing this, I can agree. But it's simple to get rid of those, right? And to enjoy the good comments, the questions, everything that comes from your community. It's something that I really enjoy. And it's something that I spend a lot of time to read each and every one of your comments. While I may not reply to each and every one of those, typically I try and react to them, give you a little heart, a like, and then things where you ask questions or whatnot, or, whatever, I typically do reply to. So, and then, again, to a better way of getting to know me is to just come hang out on the stream sometime, and, ask me questions, get to know on a personal level. Besides, just, hey, he read some choices today, right? It's like to, meeting a new person, right? Making them a friend of your own. And I have some tidbits of wisdom, some laughs, humor to share, and some positivity, right? And each and every single one of you keeps me going. I'm just going to say it. I know. I don't get all mushy and soft here and there, but, hey, this book kind of, had a good ending. We'll go with that. It wasn't too bad. It just felt like this book just had so much that was drawn out, so much unnecessary things. We could have, established things and had, we got over the hump of the, I guess you could say, drama of this a couple chapters early. Got established, had some father-daughter bonding times, some more relationship things without all the drama, right? I don't know what it is with people thinking that you need to have drama the last chapter for a book or a movie or a TV show to be good. It honestly should be something that you stimulate throughout the entire process, to keep people literally and figuratively engaged. And that's what I try and do with my commentary and things like that, to keep you engaged. You have to stimulate here and there, you just can't go stagnant and then hey, look, the end of that 18 literal, episode show, that was amazing, but 17 episodes of it sucked. And that's kind of what this book had, right? It just, I don't know, it just wasn't for me. I get it, I'm a guy, it just wasn't my cup of tea. There's a lot of women that have agreed with me, there's a lot of other guys that agreed with me, there's a lot of people that agreed with me. And, there's a handful of you that actually did look forward to this book. Hey, that's your cup of tea. And, it's if someone enjoys something, you let them enjoy it. But I have an opinion on it because I have been forced down this road. So yeah, again, you all mean the world to me. So with that being said, real quick, wish I had my father.
right? I don't know my father, never really met him. And my father apparently wanted nothing to do with me, right? I've tried to make male role models here or there throughout my life. Ones that, um, yeah, that just they will never be found to be screw ups. I guess you could say. People like Patrick Stewart, Neil deGrasse Tyson are two of my biggest role models. You know, for me as a guy, those are my male role models when it comes to like weightlifting, being strong. You know, you've got Arnold, really being that person, but Bruce Lee being number one. And his mentality, intelligence, and everything else kind of really was up there too. So, but when it comes to like being strong and sucking it up, it's Arnold all the way, you know. But aside from that, I'll just say this about America, because you know I made a quick little jab there. Yeah, no, America really doesn't have many traditions. I'm gonna be honest with you, and especially you know as a person who, my family didn't originate in America, right? Probably part of it did, part of it didn't. There were no real traditions growing up for me besides every Sunday was Bible thumping time. And yeah, no, listen, I'm not one of those people. And then there really wasn't like we have holidays which to me aren't really traditions in my opinion. I could go down this sometime if you ever want to know, but there just really isn't traditions, right? Say for instance, like Hispanic slash Latino people, right? There's this thing called siestas, right? Where they take naps throughout the day. It's not really a like holiday. It's a thing that is just kind of based on it. There's other people who, you know, pray in certain times of the day, and they stop everything they're doing and they pray. That's their thing, and these are actual traditions, or these are things that are become a part of who and what they are. America is just very, it's like a melting pot of people, but yet somehow, some way, through the melting pot of acceptance into this country, it's just, everything that's there is, in my opinion, slowly, drained away from you. Let me be honest, you're too busy working. Let's be honest, you're too busy working in this country to really enjoy your life. But anyway, without further ado, love your beautiful faces. Once again, you mean everything in the world to me, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace out.